Hey everyone, it's me, Doomlink, and welcome back to Doomlink's Live Hunts. We are once again, well not really once again, I suppose that's to suggest that it's been a while since I was last here, so it's significant that I am back here, but I don't mean once again in the sense that, oh here we are back in this game again, oh, I've been here so many times recently. No, actually. Recently I've been playing a whole lot of Generations Ultimate, as you are well aware. It has been a reasonably enjoyable experience. I didn't really feel like I was playing the game against my will. It's just I did feel obligated to play it as much as I did so that I could get to Untranked 999. I had a purpose, I had a task, and I fulfilled that task. That is now done. I am free from that game. I no longer feel like I have an obligation to play. And we are back. It's one of the rare moments when it actually disconnects during an introduction. That was kind of weird, but I do think it's worth just stitching that together. Either way. Pretty stupid. It cut out the first 2 minutes, but, well, at the very least it put a split in the VODs in the first 2 minutes, but anyway. So, with that, I now suppose I can go on without fear of disconnection or anything like that. It's basically my internet just randomly dropping out for a few seconds, which is enough to disconnect me from whatever game that I'm playing and whatever stream that I'm currently sending to Twitch. It's really annoying. But anyway. Hello Arexian and Autonomic. Autonomic will be playing with me today. I don't know where I was cut off, actually. In my speech, I was... well, in what I was saying is what I mean to say. I wasn't making a speech, I just mean my spoken word was cut off. Anyway, what I was saying was that there aren't as many people playing... There goes my throat. Come on, get back here. Damn throat. Alright, we're good again. Weird. Anyway, there aren't as many people playing during the evenings in my time zone, so here I am in the morning. Still not many people, that's 12, but there's literally 10 more people playing now than when I was last trying to play 3 Ultimate, so that's good. Let's go and see what's happening in these rooms. There is one more person playing than there was. Actually, no, that's probably me, isn't it? Autonomic, if you are ready to go, I will make a room. Again, I do not understand why, when there are so few people playing, you are unwilling to have a person from the community hunt with you. In my opinion, it's just totally inappropriate. It's a blatant disregard for the people that you're hunting with. Well, I suppose they're not hunting with us. Like, they're not hunting with me, so it would be wrong to say that we're part of the same community because they've actually decided, oh no, we don't want anyone from the community hunting with us. You do have control over the experience through kicking people. You know, if the person that has joined your room is in some way unsatisfactory, just kick them. Shit. At least give people a chance to play with the community when they come online here. There's no point having a passworded room when there's like no one to play with. I just find it really inconsiderate. I hate it. Anyway, I'll make a room. Autonomic is ready apparently. Oh, I don't have my keyboard plugged in. That's really fucking annoying. Seriously, I had to disconnect at the start of the live stream. Now I have to go and connect my keyboard to my Switch, which is fucking annoying. Oh well, I'll have to go and step through the obstacle course, which is my recording setup, and make this room. Uno momento. I do, by the way, have a beverage. You just heard them clinging together. You just beat Try, that's good to hear, N10. Good timing indeed. And I'm glad that you can come and play. It's good to hear. Alrighty. Lean back in my chair so that it creaks as needed. You know, once it's creaked a few times, it'll stop creaking, that's the point. Ergonomic chairs for you. G rank. Again, I'm not going to call it Hunter Rank 8+, because that locks out all people Hunter Rank 6 to 7. So, yeah, I understand that there are some people who haven't HR broken yet, and there aren't many people playing, so I'd like to not shut those people out. There's not really any point in looking for experts, so I'll just go with relaxed hunting, because that's what it is. Oh, by the way, Potato, I'm glad that you're here, because guess what I've got? Well, cider is what I've got, and I'm going to turn off my chroma key just briefly to show you it, because as I have previously mentioned with cider, the labeling is usually, how do I describe it? Green. So obviously if I've got a green screen enabled, it's not going to look too good, so I'll just turn off the chroma key briefly. Ugh. It's called Bilpin, and I haven't had it before. I've never had Bilpin. I do understand that it's backwards. That is the nature of the carrying handle there broke. And I had identified that while walking with it. I felt it tear, and I'm like, nope. So I'm holding it from underneath. I mean, some people probably never carry those sorts of things with the carrying handle, but I've come across some setups that really are quite durable, quite robust. But that is not an example of one. Within the first minute of me carrying it from the bottle shop, I hear the tear, and I feel the tear, and I'm like, nope. So, there you go. No, I don't think that'll happen this time, Potato. I think I was drinking too fast last time, and on top of that, and it's also luck of the draw. Sometimes it's not a problem at all. The last time I had cider on camera was actually not that time. It was maybe a few months ago, and it wasn't an issue at all. So, there we go. And hello, Pablo. I also want to report, for anyone who is not aware of this fact, Vernon will not be playing with us today. And it's not because he's busy or because he doesn't want to, it's because he has suffered a fall, quite a bad fall. He was injured enough to need to go to the hospital, but felt that he couldn't because America. So, yeah. Hope that we all keep Vernon in our thoughts and wish him the best recovery possible. I don't remember the details of his injuries, but they were not good. He'll be out of action for a while. So, there you go. His injuries, at the very least, will not in any way allow him to play video games for a while. I've decided to drink my cider out of a triple Carmelite glass. I believe this is the 500 litre one. 500 litre. Yeah, imagine 500 litres in a glass. 500 mils is what I meant to say. I think this is the 500 ml glass, it seems to be. Yeah, that's 300 there. So, yeah. Oh, that's a nice sound. Someone's gonna be like, oh, ASMR. Oh, make an ASMR channel, Doomlink. Seriously. I knew someone was going to say ASMR. I don't know when ASMR appeared. I don't know what that is or why people even... Like, what? Just random sounds in microphones and people are into that shit. I mean, seriously. It's like a newborn child discovering sound for the first time, except these are fucking grown-ass adults listening to the sounds of things in a microphone and finding it to be hypnotically fascinating. I don't really understand it. Anyway, the glass should be fine. I might just wipe it a little bit. The cupboard that it sits in doesn't really have anything, you know, any particles that could possibly get in the glass, but just for good measure, I'm giving it a bit of a wipe, you know what I mean. I haven't had anything in this triple Carmelite glass for a while because I was priced out of triple Carmelite, you know, it was fucking $10 for one bottle. I mean, give me a break, man. And now they're not even selling it anymore. At least not for the moment, so. But I do love triple Carmelite. Basically a heavier version of Hoegaarden. At least that's the way in which I've interpreted it. So there you go. Yeah, the design on the glass is pretty nice. It's got the fleur-de-lis and the actual triple Carmelite emblem on it, which is backwards indeed, but there you go. Triple Carmelite 1679. I generally don't like using the wrong glass for the wrong beverage, but that's usually as far as beer is concerned. I was just going to be drinking this out of a Weihen Stefano glass anyway, so I thought, well, fuck, I may as well use this glass, huh? Usually, cider is best consumed in a tall, thin glass, but whatever, this is fine. Alright, so there's your 300 mils, or that's 350, I think, 330, excuse me. Whatever. So, get another bottle out. But yeah, we're going to see how this cider is. It's a, it's not a very heavy one. It's, I think, 4.7 is what it is. I don't really want the ciders. I'd say 4 is a good one to aim for with cider, in terms of ABV. Ideally, I'd be sitting at around 6 or 7. Really hard cider I'm not into. There's something about the sweetness of it that makes me want to drink it faster, and you don't really want to drink a hard cider really fast. By hard cider, I mean like 8 and above, I guess, for ABV. Let me also say that it is a hot day today. So it's a good day for cider. Very good day. Oh yes, well, that could be another type of frozen cider. Or rather, that could be another type of hard cider, frozen cider, yeah. Very good. We are expecting N10, that's why I've been taking my sweet time, but... Hey Vernon, I'm going well. The better question is, how are you going? That is the question of the day. Hope you're doing well, or at least as well as you could be. But yeah, N10 just finished try, so he was sitting through the credits and now we're waiting for him to arrive. Feels weird using this controller again, but strangely, I don't really think soothing is the word. It's not soothing. I'm not feeling soothed by holding this controller. What I mean to say is that it's pleasant. There's N10, who has, by the way, recently reached Hunt Rank 999 in this game, which is weird. I can only assume that he was specifically grinding for HRP. However, he did that, I couldn't say. Could be 4-point formation, could be something else, but you don't go from Hunt Rank 800 to 999 in the time that he just did without specifically grinding for HRP, at least as far as I'm concerned. Not in this game, surely. You were at 960 when we last played? Really? I seem to recall, well, I do remember that you were 800 and something, like you were like 860 when we were going through Super Stygian, but I guess that was maybe 7 months ago or something like that. No, that couldn't be 7 months ago, it must have been more like 5 months ago. Can't remember now. Anyway, maybe it's appropriate, I'm not sure. As far as what we'll do, I guess we'll leave that in Autonomic's hands. I don't know what he needs. I hope he knows what he needs. But also, liking the set. I've seen the set before, but it's good. Yeah, that's a good set. I like that. It's actually more functional than the one that I had, because I didn't really have the best talisman in the world. I'm not sure what you mean by saying that you tried to emulate Monster Hunter Tri on the Wii, but it didn't age well. That's very strange. I'm not sure what you mean by it not aging well. Monster Hunter Tri was the best looking Monster Hunter game until Monster Hunter World came out. It looks better than this game, looks better than, well, all of them. Up until World. That's the reality of it. The textures were at the highest resolution. The only thing that was, there was a bit too much bloom, I seem to recall. And as well as that, it was either too dark or too bright most of the time, but aside from that, it looked really good, so I don't really know what about it didn't age well. Oh, it didn't end well is what you meant to say. Oh, I see. I didn't have problems emulating when I last tried. My problem was with my computer, the computer that I was using at the time when I was trying, and this was, I think, it must have been just when the servers had shut down and I sort of wanted to see what my options were for playing, you know, the online quests but offline while emulating. And I managed to get, you know, the village quests of Alatreon and Deviljho and all that, but my computer just couldn't run it properly because it was a terrible computer. So this would have been 2013 or something. I didn't get a really good computer until 2017. That was the first time that I ever had a good computer. And it's the one that I'm using right now. It's really good. It was top of the line back then. i7-7700K and 1080 Ti. And I will continue using this for quite some time. It runs exactly as it did when I first got it, and it's just, yeah, it runs all the games that I want to play perfectly fine, so I'll continue using it. Oh. Hey Slintara, good to see you. Sorry I haven't been able to send any raids your way recently. I haven't actually thought to check if you're live recently, so that's my bad, but definitely any point when you are live and I'm about to finish a live stream, I will send a raid your way. It's funny, we usually stream at about the same time, and by the time I'm ready to finish, you've already finished, so yeah, I usually go a little bit late for you, I think. Probably about the time you're ready to go to sleep. And hello, Hossein. In terms of Alatreon, I will just use heavy bowgun. I'm in the mood to keep it simple. Or I could use a bow. But again, I don't really want to bring a... Oh, no, actually I can go bow if I don't want to use element. I do indeed have the Diablo's bow. The Black Diablo's bow. So I'll use that, how about that? Sounds like a plan, wherever it is. Sarah Cyclord. There you go, what an interesting name. Cyclord. Just make sure that it has good charge on the level 3, or stage 3. I say charge level as opposed to stage. Stage is what they call it in this game. You're not really obligated to refer to it in that way. In the same way that I suppose you're not obligated to refer to thunder element as lightning element. But anyway. There you go. Should be fine. I'm sure we could get some use out of it with load up too. Let me see what load up will do for this bow. It might actually give me Pierce level 5 if that is, well, I say might. But we might not get that. Pierce level 5, let's go load up. I think that's a good option. And when I say option, I mean I might not commit to only shooting at the maximum charge, but if I'm in a situation where I need to hold my charge, like if it's too dangerous to go and shoot an arrow off in a particular moment, I can just hold it and actually get a stronger shot. So that'll be good. I'll put these away, I'm not really in need of them. And I don't believe this shoots any coatings outside of paint and exhaust. Let me confirm that. Yep, that's correct. Well, that would be great, Slintara, if you're going to be playing on the Wii U version. Like, actually on the console. Because that's where I'm playing at the moment. Most people who play 3 Ultimate these days are playing it emulated. And it's easiest to emulate it, particularly if you're wanting to play with others, on the 3DS version. So, if you are actually going to be playing on a Wii U and streaming that, then yeah, we can definitely play together. Although I will warn you, I'm probably not going to render any assistance to get you from low rank to G rank. Once you hit G rank, I'll be all for that, but I just don't really want to take anyone from low rank to G rank at this point. I've done that too many times now. Alright, I think we're good to go. These combo books, I can't help but look at them and feel that they're a bit... They're taking up a lot of space considering I'm not going to get any use out of them for this situation, or for this quest, but I'm not really lacking space in my inventory, so I'll just leave it like that. That's 3-man. We can get another person while hunting. This is the 3 Ultimate Community, it's not the Generations Ultimate Community. Well, I would recommend playing on the Wii U if it's not too difficult to get your hands on a Wii U. It's a good experience. It'll be better than emulating, let me put it that way. Just because the emulation's a bit shoddy, I would say emulation has the potential to be much better than a Wii U experience on the console, but it's not at this stage. So, while the servers are up, and that there's a community to play with, I would recommend actually playing on the Wii U. But of course that depends on your situation. If it seems to be too expensive to actually pick up a Wii U for what you're going to get out of it, then maybe don't bother. But if you're like me and like playing Zelda games, you've got Wind Waker and Twilight Princess on the Wii U to play, which is always fun. Now I'm quite certain Power Shot didn't exist until for Ultimate, so I'll just be shooting this as normal, which feels good actually. Must be a truck in the street again. Getting so sick of these low frequency hums ruining my vocal audio. Anyway, it is what it is. Really? Oh, I'm too busy reading the chat to avoid the attacks of the Elatrion. $250 to get your hands on a fucking Nintendo Wii U? No, 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 no. I'm playing quite terribly. It all went downhill when I read the chat, but that doesn't mean I'm going to stop reading the chat. It just means that you're going to have to make an allowance for poor play if I'm too busy reading the chat to pay attention to the game. That's what that means. It's not your bad. It's my choice to read the chat. I'm not going to ask you not to speak to me because I have to play the game or anything. That's not going to be happening. But yeah, I usually go heavy bowgun against this monster instead of bow, so this is always nice. Of course, there was no bow in Try, so most of the time I was hunting this monster in Try, I was going ranged, which means I was certainly not using a bow. Yeah, have a look, Slantara, if you can find better prices for the Wii U. It doesn't sound right. That sounds like too much. I remember, I think it was, yeah, 3 years ago now. Maybe 2.5 years ago. A friend of mine was looking to get a Wii U and he found one secondhand, obviously secondhand, for like $150 US. You know, it was 2.5 years ago, so there are better options out there. I think you just have to have a good look, and obviously that's dependent upon, you know, chance. You know, a person needs to be selling something at an appropriate price at the moment you want to purchase it. Okay, that's really stupid. I was expecting him to move forward there, that's why I thought I'd be safe. But he instead did a stationary snow breath, or ice breath, I guess we could say. Frost breath, how about that? That's a happy medium, isn't it? Really? Switch scalping would drive up the price of a Wii U? Oh. Well, I suppose it's possible. In terms of my stamina loss, it should be fine. My only concern is that I don't have any way to boost my stamina in this game. I'm really lazy about that. I don't have energy drinks, I don't have meat. I don't have dash juice. It's my laziness that has resulted in that. It's not because I didn't think I needed it, it's because I'm like, well, I can live without it. But I can't really, not with a bow. I'm very stamina reliant with a bow. That much I can assure you. And Ten, are you using that with Awaken, or is that just a raw weapon for you? That looks like just a standard greatsword set as opposed to an Awakened greatsword set. Just raw, okay. How's the hunt going? I'm gonna let him know that he'll probably have to wait 10 minutes. You'll have to wait 10 minutes. I perhaps could have put that to him in a slightly more polite way, but, you know, I'm in the middle of a hunt. Oh, no problems, he says. A little bit of a stark contrast to the Generations Ultimate community, wouldn't you say? I do realise that I'm in the way of the chat, and I can only apologise. Well, he's probably going to do a volcano mining run in the meantime. I mean, really, it's just a different experience. Totally different. It's all about instant gratification in the Generations Ultimate community, and quite frankly, it's been that way since the advent of 3DS Monster Hunter with 4 Ultimate. And I interpreted, when 4 Ultimate was new, I interpreted that as the fact that it was a handheld console, so people might be playing it on the go, so they have less time available to them, but I don't even think it's that. I now think that it's more to do with changing generations of gamers. I think people these days just need instant gratification. You know, this is part of an older generation of people who don't need to immediately get in a hunt when they're playing. Admittedly, you do have to set aside a lot of time to make any progress in this game because of how much slow-paced it is. How much more slow-paced it is, but still, it's a much more laid-back experience. The community feels more intimate, and it's just better overall, I find. Yeah, I am in the way. I find that it's better to not be in the way of the items on the right side. I don't want to be in the middle. That would just be weird. It doesn't look quite right if I'm in the middle. Yeah, the funny thing is that the 3 Ultimate community was terrible compared to the Tri community, but when you go from the Generations Ultimate community back to the 3 Ultimate community, wow. It's pretty different. And it's a lot better. But I remember when I first played 3 Ultimate, I was terribly disappointed with how the community had taken a hit. It's like only the idiots from Tri remained. That's how it seemed. And it does still feel that way, but still, by virtue of comparison, this community is so much better than what you get these days. And the same can be said for 4 Ultimate, like this is better than 4 Ultimate. It really was just a slow and steady decline in terms of the community. And I don't really want to get into the specifics of why I say that, because then it'll just be me sitting here moaning the whole time. I apologise for the background noise, it's the sound of water pipes being very fucking noisy. The house that I live in is from... it was built in 1940, actually. So the pipes are a bit fucking loud. Oh. Vernon went to a place called Grey Whale CD, an actual used console store, to get his used Wii U. Now the funny thing is that I can't imagine them pricing anything competitively if you were to, you know, browse online stores. I can't imagine how they could price anything competitively, but I guess they did in this case. Maybe they didn't know what they could sell it for, or something, I don't know. Maybe that's what you have to hope for, but it's not hard if you're running a used goods store to just do a quick online search and see what people are selling it for online. That's, in my opinion, there's no other way to possibly price it sensibly if you're working in one of those stores. Like, how else would you know how to price something like that? You have to know what the market value is, so I would imagine that they'd check that, but Maybe they just wanted to sell the thing, I don't know. Maybe if they hold on to it for too long, they just start to slowly drop the price, I don't know, but I find it hard to imagine that that would be competitive. But I suppose they'd have to be, because one of the reasons why, for example in Australia, it would be better off to buy something in person is because you get it immediately. Whereas in the US, by comparison, shipping is so much faster over there. Shipping takes some time here. I swear to God, those pipes, you're about to hear it again. Oh no, didn't actually go off this time. Anyway, I'm gonna try and not talk about the pipes. If it's not Bob the Builder, it's the pipes. I mean, really, it's just one thing after another. So many fucking loud bangs and ugh. Anyway, the point is that shipping in Australia takes a bit of time. Like if you're shipping domestically, I mean, we're a big country as well, but if you're shipping domestically, you know, it'll be maybe 3 days, 4 days. Internationally, good luck. I mean, we're a fucking island in the middle of nowhere, basically. Ow. So yeah, it takes a while. In other words, you're willing to pay a premium to have it immediately. Whereas in the US, I suppose, you're not going to pay a premium to have it immediately when you can get it shipped to you so quickly in that country. So, quite frankly, I guess they would have to price it competitively, otherwise they just wouldn't sell anything. So that would make sense. But again, this is all theoretical, I've got no idea what the situation is. You saw someone selling a 3DS for $500 US. The reason why is because I think... Actually, no, I'm getting confused with the Switch. There was a time when the Switch was very, very expensive. But 3DS? No. Are you sure that wasn't like a special limited edition? That makes no sense. Who the fuck would buy a 3DS at a price like that? That's terrible. Truly terrible. This is the G-rank Latreon, isn't it? He's got a lot of health. He's a proper Elder Dragon sort of monster, which the series has sadly departed from. It needs to be a special version of the monster for it to have decent health now, like an event quest or tempered, arch-tempered, all that sort of crap. Instead of the monster just already being strong. But yeah, the G-rank Latreon here is actually a bit of a challenge. He's got lots of health, hits you pretty hard. And that's refreshing, quite frankly, having come from Generations Ultimate. I'm going to be comparing this to Generations Ultimate, you'll have to forgive me. I've played plenty of this game. More, in fact, than I've played Generations Ultimate, but especially considering that there's a lot of stuff from Tri in this game. Tri being the game that I've played the most of in the series, but yeah, I played a lot of Generations Ultimate recently, so I'm making these comparisons without even really trying. It's just nice to fight a real Elder Dragon again. The funny thing about, I've said this before, but the Elder Dragons of 2nd Gen, Teostra, Kushala, and Chameleos, you know, the big three. I don't know if they had a special name. They never really had a name from what I can remember. You know, you've got the Faded Four, for example, but they weren't Elder Dragons. But Teostra, Kushala, and Chameleos I don't think had a special name. But they were a trio. They always came in a group of 3 until World came out and they didn't give a shit. But yeah, those guys, they were really, really strong. Not so much Chameleos, because you could shit on him, but Kushala and Teostra, they had a lot of health. Because they were Elder Dragons, but they didn't really look it. I never felt they looked the part. I always felt an Elder Dragon was something like Yamatsukami or Lao Shanlung, something big. And I guess Fatalis also had a serious intimidation factor that just, you know, you knew he was an Elder Dragon, made sense. But Teostra and Kushala I always felt, I mean, they had special abilities, yeah. But they didn't have that sort of grandeur that I would expect to see of an Elder Dragon. It wasn't really until 3rd Gen that Elder Dragons started to have more of that. They started to look the part a little more, I felt. Monsters like Latreon and Gen Moran and Cedeus, those are fucking Elder Dragons. Teostra and Kushala, I mean, give me a break. And Lunastra is also in the same category, of course. Lunastra and Teostra both appearing in DOS alongside Kushala, although Kushala ended up being the flagship. Having a hard time hitting him consistently, actually, at the moment. Might take us 15 minutes, we'll see. It wouldn't be a surprise. I mean, 3-manning a G-rank Elatrion, you'll need a really, really optimized team to sub 15. Maybe not super optimized, but maybe a little more optimized than ours is. But I'd say we're still doing good damage. I don't know what autonomics are running. A slime weapon. I'd say we're doing pretty good damage. I mean, we've just hit 15, so I guess that's just how it is. That was good timing. I don't think I would have been hit there, but it would have been pretty cool had that saved me. But the timing was still good. I have actually been trying to get the level 4 charge, as you've noticed. I didn't think I would. I thought I'd go for higher DPS, but again, it's Pierce level 3 versus Pierce level 5. I think 5 is worthwhile. I don't know if I've got life powders to help you. No, I don't. I don't carry them in this game, because again, lazy. Too lazy. That's casual Doomlink. But yeah, if it were Pierce level 4 versus Pierce level 5 on the stages, I would probably opt for charge 3, or stage 3 on the bow charge. Well, put it this way. The guy in the room currently, Lance, do keep in mind that he's been here this whole fucking time. And good on him, quite frankly. He's just going to stick around. I mean, no matter how long it takes for us to do this quest, he's going to stay, because otherwise he will have wasted 15 minutes to achieve nothing. So, that's how it is. He'll stick around. He might ask for an update on what's going on. He might ask to know what we're hunting. I don't think he's too far from dying though. Oh, here we go. He hasn't done this whole hunt. How about that? So N10's the target for this one. But unlike Generations Ultimate, Elatrion's not going to land near N10. Elatrion will land here. Hopefully I can remember where to put the bombs. Yeah, well, I usually aim them for the head. I'm not going to put them down in time. Sorry, I don't know if I ended up hitting N10 there. I actually don't know. He might have received the invulnerability period from the end of the quest, and so therefore he didn't take any damage, I'm not sure. But there you go. Not too bad. I probably have... Well, I'll keep carving anyway. I was going to say I probably have a full stack of most of the Elatrion parts, but just in case, I will carve away. Good hunt though. That's an Elder Dragon hunt right there. We actually have to put some effort in. Yeah, this experience is mostly unchanged from the Tri experience. The only difference is the fact that you can't flash him. Well, you can technically flash this Elatrion. It's just very, very hard. More than anything else, you want to be binding him. And that was not possible in any of the games prior to this one. Turns out that I do have space for Elatrion stuff. I think I sold it in the past. Seem to remember selling a lot of Elatrion stuff in this game. Well, that was a good time for us to complete the hunt, Autonomic. Alright. Lance has been terribly patient. I will tell him to post. Actually, what is his hunter rank? He is, I think, 38 is what I can see. So he's definitely got some stuff to do. Feel free. Again, I'll show you the chat, so this time I'm not in the way of it. But that's the nature of communicating in this particular game. Very high level communication. Ugh. Oh, Lance is not in the room, I see. I wasn't sure if he was on a quest or not. He's saying that he's coming back from a mission. Oh, he wants to do Azure Rathalos and Pink Rathian. He wrote it as Azure Wrath plus Pink Rathian, but in two different lines. I thought he was saying Azure Wrath plus, which would, I guess, suggest high rank. That's what I was worried about. So he wants to do Azure Rathian, or Azure Rathalos and Pink Rathian, so we'll go and set that up. I'll bring something that deals dragon damage. Whatever would be fun. I guess what would be fun is Dragon Light Bowgun, but I won't. Yeah, rats indeed. Azure Rathian Pink Rathalos, that's right. Pink Rathalos. I mean, why not? In fact, let's not forget transgender monsters. Who's to say Rathalos is male? You really going to put him in that category? Poor bastard. Anyway. Might use a gun lance, that should be fun. I have an abundance of choice when it comes to dragon gun lance in this game, and I don't know why. I still don't know why. I've got this one, Deus Obelisk. This is the worst one that I have. Second to worst is Gen Mortalis. And then we've got World's Demise. I mean, Gen Mortalis is a perfectly functional gun lance. It's just World's Demise is better. In the prep area. Come on. He says, I got back, but I can't see you. I mean, you can imagine why. It's because we're not in the area that you're in, man. Alright, so what is the quest? I guess it's an advanced quest. I've got it. How about that? I hope you didn't depart, N10. Okay, good. Because I saw that you posted a harvest tour, so I was worried that you'd gone and departed on a quest to go and cycle the quests or something. Anyway, I did happen to have it, which is rather fortunate. Yeah, male Rathians. Great. It does still turn me off that the fully upgraded Deviljho weapons in this game have red accent. Or have a red accent. It doesn't make sense to me because I'm so used to it being either purple or green. Purple for increased raw and green for increased affinity in slots. From Tri. But I suppose it's been that way since Portable Third, so it's time to get used to it. It just doesn't feel right. I don't know why I'm in the mood to use Gunlance. That is a question that needs to be asked. Lance is using... Well, let's actually see what he's using. Let's hope that he's got a decent loadout. I can see Morales, so that's a good start. Don't depart. I'm trying to look at him. Oh. He is definitely in need. What is he doing this quest for? This guy is definitely in need. At least he's got skills though, good on him. In spite of his mess of an armor set, he's got skills. Like, it looks bad, but it's actually not. It's bad in terms of defense, but it's functionally fine. Given that he's only just HR broken, so... whatever. He's made a mix set out of what he could possibly make, which is good, but... he's definitely in need. I don't know what he's aiming to make with this. Hopefully it's not a weapon. My hope is that he's prioritizing armor. Because some people do have terrible armor sets but don't prioritize their armor. I mean, I suppose weaponry is important, but he's got that covered. He's got a Brachydios weapon, so he'll be alright. Lance is fighting the Raytheon, and I ran straight into the Rathalos because I was looking to see where Lance was. Because I saw he was in combat, but he wasn't here. I will actually paintball the Rathalos. Try not to go too close to the head. I'm gonna try to hit the head, but not mess N10 up. Look at that. See, N10 was scared that I was going to hit him there, but I actually wasn't hitting him. I was specifically avoiding him, so he didn't want to pursue attacking the head. Which I understand, but I was being careful. Good knockdown. I will Wyvern fire. I have no reason to hold off on doing that now. Oh, fuck off. He is Raytheon. That's not a good time for you to do that tail swing. I don't need that right now. Tail flip, I suppose, would be the term, but... I do not have flash bombs or dung bombs, so I hope someone's got... Oh, that was very nicely done. Very nicely done. I'll attack the wing. Oh, good on you, Lance. You're not doing the upswing. He knows how to use a switch axe. I don't know if you saw, but he did the advance chop instead of the upswing, and then he morphed into a sword attack. I mean, good on him. He knows how to actually use the fucking weapon type. Unlike so many people who use switch axe at that hunter range. Refreshing, to say the least. That's knockdown number 2. God, it's a bit different in this game, isn't it? You can definitely build up KO more effectively here. Maybe Knockout King just gives you more KO. I don't know. That is assuming that he has Knockout King equipped. Yeah, I understand. You were getting put up against the wall, basically. That is the nature of this monster. Fucking annoying. Yeah, I am mindful of the fact that you have a right to the head. I'm specifically attacking the head whilst avoiding you, N10, so... just go for that head, don't worry about me. And if I do hit you at any point, I'll just stop attacking the head. I was trying to position myself so that I could shield the tail, but that did not work at all. Unfortunately, I can't move from here because... well, now I can, but if I'm under attack, I have to just sit behind my shield and effectively let the poison slowly kill me, because that's the nature of Gunlance. It's not very good for evasive maneuvers. Doing another one. So that's an example of both of us being able to hit the head. Well, it's certainly easy when I get blasted away as well. Well, I never really heard those anyway, Potato. I had them turned off from the beginning. It was one of the first things that I aimed to do in the demo. It was turn those off. You never thought a Gunlance user and a Hammer user could share a head, but if both the Hammer user and the Gunlance user aren't fucking retarded, it's possible. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the true nature of Monster Hunter. Well, I did have a Wyvern Fire ready to go. I'm a little bit confused with my X-axis at the moment. I have been playing Sonic 2006 recently, which has an inverted X-axis, so every now and again I turn my camera in the opposite direction to where I really want to turn it. Oh, whoops. There we go. Don't know why I pulled out my weapon. Don't know what happened there. Oh, I pressed a button. Feels good to communicate in a Monster Hunter game again, though. Free quest communication. I think she's more annoying than Azure Rathalos. Definitely. Alright, catch you later, Pablo, and thanks for sticking around. Oh, so that's how you were killed. You were killed by trying to carve Autonomic. I see. Hadn't really kept track of that. May as well take the slog bones, huh? Oh no, I am keeping it to a stack. Okay, right. Well, that was a gold crown small for that Azure Rathalos, but I already had one. Whoever didn't have a gold crown small for Azure Rathalos, enjoy. It didn't look especially small, but I guess I didn't take notice of the size of the monster. Just put this stuff away and then sell as needed. Oh yeah, annoyingly, the last recording that I did for the Sonic 06 recording, there was a bit of audio distortion on my end because I had accidentally, somehow the knob for my mic input had been turned to max on my audio interface. I don't know why, it's not supposed to be that way. It's supposed to be like it is now, which is not that. And as a result, I was basically constantly maxed out, and my compressor was having to pull that down, and so it just sounded distorted and gross. Not the same as straight up digital distortion, but, you know, obviously it was just too loud and it sounded terrible. I mean, I don't have a... It's a compressor plug-in, it's not an actual physical compressor. If I had a real nice outboard compressor, like a really expensive one, maybe, but no. That is not what I had, and so it sounded like shit. But you guys might not have noticed that, which is great. But, yeah, it annoyed me watching back. Feel free to post again, Autonomic. We'll just take it in turns between you and Lance. However, if you feel that you don't have anything you really need to do, then you don't have to worry about it. It's up to you. If you want to do another Elatrion, then I suppose we can do that. I can live with that. I'll just bring something else to keep it fun. I'm sure Lance will be fine with an Elatrion. He seems to have a good head on his shoulders. So I think we'd be good. But yeah, cider on a hot day? Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Although it doesn't feel terribly hot right now. If I were to put on a jacket, yeah. Definitely it would be, you know, I'd start to overheat, but as I'm sitting here just in a shirt, t-shirt. Yeah, it's not too hot. But it will be hotter today than it was yesterday. What's he saying? I'll get out of the way. He likely doesn't realize. Oh, Autonomic still is finding the quest. But yeah. Yeah, not complaining indeed. Anyone got 3 laggy? Let's have a look. I mean, maybe I could keep myself in this position while not in a hump. Maybe that'd be good, I don't know. I have regular laggy and ivory. That's over to you. If none of us have it, then we could possibly do that. It's up to you, Autonomic. If you'd rather triple laggy, then we can rotate for it. We'll see if Lance has it. No. I think I can live without microwaved cider. But you know what? I'd reckon microwaved cider would be a damn sight better than microwaved lager. Because that's the joke, you know, we were joking about that in the past. I think that was during a Twilight Princess recording when I was talking about that. But, yeah. Well, I mean, neither would be pleasant, but we can do laggy and ivory. Okay. Okay. What would be fun? The Apocalypso. I can only hope that... Well, maybe this is not a good decision, because Autonomic and Lance are not going to receive benefits from the Apocalypso. And I don't know for sure that N10's using elemental damage, so... That's the problem with this horn. Do I have another fire hunting horn that I can possibly use? Because again, it's so situational. The Apocalypso. I could use, you know what I can do? I can bring... No, I don't want to bring a slime weapon because we've already got 2 other people using slime. So, whatever. I will not bring a hunting horn after all. Not for this quest. How about Lance? Lance could be fun. Which is appropriate given the person we're hunting with. What the hell is this? Oh, that's right. I forgot about this. I only made this recently. This was one of the last lances that I made in this game. I don't know why it took me so damn long. I have 2 choices for lances in this game. I've got the Morales one, and I've got the Rathalos one. At least I think I have the Rathalos one, don't I? Yeah, here it is. Soul Prominence. I'll definitely use this. It's fucking ugly, but... Or fugly, as they say. You know what? I'm not going to use this, because... If you think about it, I can use this lance in any damn game, whereas the Maelstrom, that's only in this game. Can't make this anywhere, or you can't use this anywhere else. So I'll use it here, that'll do me. It's really only appropriate with sharpness +1. This is the problem. It's intended for the Morales weapon. Oh, I'm supposed to be posting. It's intended for the Morales weapons to be comparable to the Fatalis weapons in the sense that they deal good elemental damage, but they lack a little bit in sharpness. They're not actually lacking in sharpness in terms of sharpness level, but as far as how much of each sharpness level it possesses, it is lackluster unless you have sharpness +1. So like the Fatalis weapons, you'll need sharpness skills to really get the full effectiveness of the weapon. So, yeah. Even like this, it should be fine. I think I can live with this sharpness. Off we go. Well, maybe I could have gone Hunting Horn after all, because Autonomic's using elemental weaponry, but I'll save it for later. I will definitely whip out the Hunting Horn. Hunting Horn's good fun. But not this time. But yeah, a decent number of my armor sets in this game just don't have sharpness skills, which locks out Moralis weaponry in a lot of use case scenarios. Which is a shame, because again, Moralis weapons are unique to this game. They do not exist anywhere else. It is better, by the way, to start with... Actually, no, never mind. I'm thinking of the double ivory quest. We don't have to worry about regular Laggy rotating into this room, because he's underwater, actually. Forgot about that. Yeah, if this were a double ivory quest, starting with this one would be a bad idea. Because they rotate counterclockwise, you see. Hello. Aberramentho. I'm assuming that's another person who's playing 3 Ultimate. It's always good to see a little bit of action on Twitch in this game. Actually, hop back. Well, no. I was trying to hop back to the shell shocker there. Did not work at all. Hopefully I don't get flinched by anyone here. Because if I'm going to be hitting the elemental weak point, or at the very least if I have an option to do that, you better believe I'll be doing it. You better believe. Because this is a weapon that actually will work very well with an elemental weak point, given that it capitalizes on elemental damage. That's the whole idea. High sharpness level, high element. Keeping in mind that you get an elemental multiplier on sharpness. 620 fire with purple sharpness on a fire weak monster. You better believe that's going to be hitting like a truck. You better believe. I really don't need ivory stuff. Courtesy of Vernon. I have plenty of that. Plenty of that. No, I'm not blaming you for it. You got faked by this laggy Enten. He left the area you're in now, just as you got in there, clearly. Yep. Ow. I don't really mind being flinched by Lance because I'm using a Lance. Not precisely for that reason, but because, you know, I know he uses the switch axe carefully and with good strategy. So, given that I'm a Lance user, I don't mind taking a hit every now and again from him. That's fine. Quite frankly, this sharpness is perfectly manageable. It's not too bad. Oh. Good time for a flinch. Bad time for a thrust on my part. Laggy slowly but surely taking down my health with his bloody slap attack. This is the bitch slap monster. Turns around, bitch slaps you. Goodbye. Goodbye. Well, I'm glad, Potato. What's going on? Like, what? Do you not play this game? I know you don't, but is there a reason why? You should get it. Fuck, in fact, come to think of it, you are the guy who bought an Xbox Series S. Why didn't you buy a fucking Wii U and this game? What's actually wrong with you? What the fuck? You're not very smart when you're high. If you were smart when you're high, you would have bought this immediately. And then you could have been like, well, I didn't really need to spend that money, but at least I got something out of it. I know you were baked. You would need to be. The point is that, you know, some people make better decisions when they're high. You don't. As we've established. Harexian, who works at GameStop, says, I've sold like 5 of those this week. I throw up a little in my mouth every time. Oh god. Oh. That's, yeah, good. Well, Microsoft know how to swindle the gaming community, don't they? Imagine that. Imagine buying that. Fucking hell. Anyway. NPC, Vernon. NPC. Which is technically Microsoft, really, at this point. So Microsoft's involved. Can't not include Microsoft in some way. It's a bit of ASMR. You hear that? That's the sound of the bubbles. I'm sure you heard that. Soothing, says Anton. Good to know. It was soothing until I knocked the fucking glass against the microphone. That ruined the moment. This is just... You know, this is a lot of fucking liquid. This is heavy. This is like half a kilogram or more. Oh. BRB 1 minute, says Lance. Oh, believe me. I can live with that. Although I suppose... Oh, I'm back! As soon as I read that, he's saying he's back. In fact, I'm going to send him my guild card, now that I think about it. And I want him to send me his. Hopefully I've got space for him, now that I think about it. What's happening with my guild card list? Card list, here we go. No, stop that! What am I doing? There we go. So... Hopefully I've got space for it. I explained to you, Lance. He obviously misread what I said. Yeah, the Wii U Pro Controller, everyone has their preference, really. I don't like the... Look, the Wii U Pro Controller is very good. It depends on what you're playing. The Wii U Pro Controller, if you want to go and get Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, the Wii U Pro Controller on the Wii U is great. It's a very good controller. It's expensive, but there's a reason. It holds a charge like nothing else, it's durable, it's a well-made controller. But for Monster Hunter? No. This is the way to go for Monster Hunter. Here we go. Oh great, Hoss is back. Just got followed by 2 of them. In fact, come to think of it, I wonder if they've made a dent on my followed list. No, they didn't make a dent. Good. Bloody bastards. What do you mean, N10? You can use the classic controller here. You don't have to adjust, just connect your Wii remote to this game and then or this console and then play with the classic controller. It's not hard to set up. We're talking like you press 2 buttons and it's done. You press the syncing button on the controller, then the syncing button on the console, and then you're playing with this. You might have to set it in game, but it's very quick and easy. And quite frankly, it's better. Can you do it in the lobby? Well, you can certainly connect the Wii remote, but as far as... I wonder if the game would automatically recognize the Classic Controller Pro if you disconnected the Wii U Pro controller. I don't know. Hadn't really thought about it. I do believe that you have to set your desired controller to the Classic Controller for it to recognize it, but who knows, you can give it a try. Deus, what would I like to use? Something dragon-based. Could use a horn, how about that? I'll bring a horn. Something a little different. Hunting horn against Deus. It's in settings, really? Well, hold on. Options. No, it doesn't look like it. You've got settings for the Wii U gamepad specifically, but it doesn't look like you can choose which controller you use here. It's probably in the initial settings of startup. Anyway. Well, Mayflash may very well have an add-on to the Wii U that can do it. Connect a PS4 controller to this game, I'd say it's possible. I'll have to do some material selling. Oh great, I can't even put this in my box because I have no space. Fucking hell. I'm gonna have to sell some stuff. I'm gonna have to cull more stacks. In fact, you know what, no. If I can't even put this in the box, it means something. It means I don't have a stack of it. Or rather, I don't have a, you know, incomplete stack. Fucking hell. Oh, Autonomic's got the Elatrion longsword, I didn't know. It's only the high rank one, but hey. I can see what he's making now. I better bring Mega Potions. Am I fine for honey now? I think I am. Yeah. I bought a number of stacks. That's good. Fuck, I'm trying to ready up, damn it. Enjoying the cider though. It's a welcome change. The best beverage on a hot day, I can tell you that. I can tell you that. It's funny, Lance changed his armor pigment to match the color of his weapon. He's a slime man. N10 is willingly using the Deus Obelisk, which I passed up before. It's fine for a quest like this, I suppose. You know what, cider's even good in the winter, but it's especially good on a hot day. Oh, I was expecting him to roar for the start. I've obviously forgotten how this guy operates. Alright, let's find out what I need to play. Aha. I'm going to prioritize attack up skills. In other words, I'm not going to attack him while doing this. I'm going to boost the damage of the team as soon as possible. What else have I got? I've got melody durations extended. Okay. I'll hit him for this one. Whoops. Wrong attack. He's going for the Dragonator. I'll ping so that Lance knows. And I can play melody durations extended in the meantime. Thank you for the follow pack of Pepsi. It's a very interesting name you've got there. It's rather cinematic. Oh, whoops, I didn't need to encore that. That's totally unnecessary. Totally unnecessary. I have movement speed up, which is actually pretty good underwater. It does make a noticeable difference to the speed at which you can move underwater, which you'd hope. The key word being noticeable. Obviously it would be faster, but it is noticeable. Oh, I just got... Somehow my animation was cancelled by his movement, but it didn't flinch me. At least as far as I could see. Anyway, I won't question it too much. I'll question it, but I won't let it ruin my experience. Hello, Aran. Aran, I guess I can call you. Yeah, he's got a good theme. This is the big final boss theme of Monster Hunter Tri, basically. And it's lovely. I might reset the timer on attack up for the group. I will try to put Di Morales on the board today. It probably will benefit Lance, honestly. Let's see if... Autonomic, if you need Di Morales for anything, go post him. Because it's always good to have a showcasing of Di Morales for any person who doesn't play this game. Because he only appears here. I'm always happy to do a Morales. And I haven't done him in a while either. Probably about a month or something like that. Which isn't that long, but I like him. Yeah, Latrion was sort of an extra. He wasn't really related to the story. He was just if you happened to play the online. Some people probably played Tri and didn't bother with the online. It's possible. They missed out. That's for sure, but... Yeah. Latrion's the true final boss of Tri. Try really was designed in a terrible way. So much of the game was online only. What a stupid idea. And then Capcom, even having made that ridiculous decision, didn't even take responsibility for the fact that the GameSpy servers had shut down, and didn't even port it to servers that they were willing to support. That's the thing. If you make a game that's online only and then the GameSpy servers shut down, whether you were expecting it or not, you have to take responsibility for the fact that you put that much faith in the GameSpy servers staying up, that you were willing to fucking do that. To actually have it online only like that. Anyone who bought Try after whatever it ended up being, it was like early to mid 2013 when the server shut down. Any person who bought Try at that time literally bought half of a fucking game. Because the other half couldn't be accessed anymore. And Capcom never took responsibility for that. They never once actually addressed it, I don't think. I guess they said, oh yeah, servers are shutting down. And then that's it, too bad. What about all those people who had put so much time into the game who could no longer access that other half of the game? What about all the people who bought the game expecting to be able to access the entirety of the game that they had purchased but couldn't? Really? Bad move, Capcom, but they didn't receive any sort of... There were no ramifications to speak of. People just went and kept on buying their games, like me. So, there you go. Hello, Crimson Gunner. I probably don't need to actually carve this monster, but I will do so. Just in case. I'm about to run out of oxygen. I never bring oxygen supply for a fight like this because it's always over with quite quickly. And I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I do wish that they would have given us a stronger G-rank C-Deus fight. This is not an Elder Dragon fight. This feels like a normal fight. A non-Elder Dragon, because he always dies so quickly. His health is not high enough. Like, he doesn't have enough health for an Elder Dragon, in my opinion. At least not for a proper Elder Dragon experience. You hunt with a team and he's fucking gone. I understand why they made him weaker. It's because he was, I think, the Urgent into HR6 or HR7. Can't remember which of the two. But he wasn't an endgame G-rank hunt. I believe he was the Urgent into G-rank in general, so he was like your first G-rank hunt. Under those circumstances, yes, it makes absolutely, well, rather it makes perfect sense that you would have a lower health C-Deus. But you need to counterbalance that by having an event quest or something in later G-rank to give us a real C-Deus hunt. They don't do that. And I think that's a real oversight. It's a shame. This is what I'm saying, Crimson Gunner. It's perfectly reasonable that they chose for C-Deus to be weaker for this particular quest, but it was a dereliction of responsibility, ultimately, to choose not to actually bring a stronger version of this monster into the game, because you do have this epic Elder Dragon who's getting totally destroyed by any team that wants to hunt it in the endgame. So you are therefore responsible for giving us a shitty Elder Dragon, ultimately. A weak Elder Dragon that loses much of its intimidation factor or its grand nature as a large Elder Dragon in an underwater ancient ruin by having it die so damn quickly whenever we find it. It's a real shame. They could have done something a whole lot better than that. Blackbeard C-Deus. Well, there are plenty of people who have bought a Wii U specifically to play this game with this online community. That's definitely the case. I feel sorry for any person who chose to play this on the 3DS instead of the Wii U. It's incredible how many people actually played this game when it came out. I mean, the servers were absolutely on fire. There were lots of people playing. But I suppose a lot of those people have either moved on or sold their Wii U's. I don't know why, but fine. I've just continued playing since it came out. Well, that's the right thing to do, Crimson Gunner. That's absolutely the right thing to do. There's no point continuing to play on a 3DS when you have Citra, which will ultimately give you a much better experience than anything you could experience on a 3DS console. I hate the 3DS. I could very easily go into a rant about how much I hate the 3DS and how much I felt that it put down the series. Capcom's decision to put that, or to put Monster Hunter on that system, was a terrible decision. Probably not a terrible fiscal decision. I think that was probably quite... that paid dividends, I would say, because in the end, Nintendo had the best handheld system in terms of popularity, but in terms of actual hardware, no. But Capcom had a falling out with Sony, as I understand it, so I don't think it could have possibly been on the Vita. And hello, Hyper Ray. Oh, here's another Elatrion. Any hint to farm money? Goldbeard. I'm doing it right then, says Lance. Yeah, that's what everyone does in early G rank, just kill Goldbeard and sell all the materials. And it remains a good choice, even in the late game. What should I bring? Maybe I could go Greatsword this time, let's do it. I will use exactly this setup. And Rocksteady actually works for Elatrion. I'd forgotten how good Rocksteady was in this particular game. I didn't think for a moment that Rocksteady could work against Elatrion, but it does, it's incredible. It was my assumption that Rocksteady would not work against any Elder Dragon. I was wrong. Elatrion's Roar can be resisted by Rocksteady. They nerfed Rocksteady so hard in 4 Ultimate that they just cut it from the series after that. They realised that there was no good reason to have Rocksteady if it was going to be so bad. There was something else that I had an extra stack of. Oh well. I've got 3 slots in my box. Yeah. Excellent. Wait, what did I eat for? Carver High. Might be lucky. Might get 3 calves on the tail. You never know. Oh yeah, well that was their way of bringing back Rocksteady. They implemented... So isn't that ironic? They decide, oh, Rocksteady's too good, let's nerf it. And then they nerf it. And then they bring it back stronger than ever in World, because World was basically Capcom saying, yeah guys, you know that balancing that we've been trying to do for the entire series? Let's just forget about that. We're going to be bringing a lot of people on board who won't even be able to see how the series has devolved with this iteration, so we don't need to worry about balancing, forget that. It's just... don't even bother, man. But they decided to actually make some attempt with balancing. Slicing went at first. Or in the first version of World they tried to balance that. I would like to get an opening charge on you. Land compensation dealt the damage, believe me. Or at least we can hope. Anyway. I'll actually get a turn on him. Oh, he didn't turn towards me, that's all. Now that tail doesn't really hit you in this version of the game, particularly not in Portable Third, but in Try, the tail swing there actually hit me. And I don't know why they changed that. I don't think that was a difficulty. I don't feel like that made the hunt too hard, or anything like that. I did actually mean to roll there. I don't know why my controller decided to ignore that input. I wouldn't know. Aran, I don't play World. But I do believe it's a set size for Elatrion. I don't think he has a varied size or anything like that. It's been a long time since I great sorted an Elatrion. So I'm a little bit out of practice, but that's alright. We've got a group of 4, we'll get through this pretty quickly. Well, not super quickly, it will take more than 10 minutes, but... Yeah, they actually, interestingly, the Uragan Chin Slam after the Roar can hit you in 4th gen. They brought that back. The reality is that Portable 3rd was one of the... In fact, it was the easiest Monster Hunter until Whirl came out. And a lot of the changes that were made to Portable 3rd in the end were made with the intention of making the game easier, but a lot of that stayed in this game. Changes that were made in Portable 3rd were mostly kept in this game. Not in all cases, but... Yeah, so in other words, some things weren't restored to their true level of difficulty until 4th gen. And I guess things like Uragan were there. They never actually brought back the difficulty of Baroth. Baroth still slows down after he charges. In Try he didn't. He didn't slow down at all. He was ready for the next charge, basically, after his first one. I'll sharpen back up. It's very important that I stay at purple sharpness with this setup. But they chose to make Elatrion harder in this game. In Try, you used to be able to flash bomb him to the end of time, which was very important because a lot of people were bringing dragon weapons to Elatrion fights in that game for good reason. You know, the Elatrion weapons, or the dragon weapons such as Elatrion weapons and Deviljho weapons, were the best in that game because of their purple sharpness. Purple sharpness in a high rank game is totally broken, it ruined the balance of Try. But yeah, bringing a dragon weapon to an Elatrion hunt was a good idea in that game, and it was made even better when people flash-bombed so that Elatrion was on the ground but in flight mode with the dragon weakness so that all the Blade Master dragon weapon users could deal the best possible damage. And I think they really didn't want that in this particular game. So they made flashing Elatrion almost impossible. It is technically possible, but it's bloody hard. And they mostly added that functionality to binding, which is actually harder to achieve than flashing in the previous games. You need to be a lot more specific with your timing, and I feel like there's a bit of team coordination that's required as well. Let's say, for example, the whole team's over here and then the guy binds over there. Well, that guy can't actually deal damage because he won't make it to the monster in the time allotted to him, given his position in relation to the monster, because the team didn't decide to assemble near the binder. So team coordination is important, and that overall makes it harder. And I can't really remember how flashing Elatrion worked in Generations. I guess they sort of restored the ability for Elatrion to be flashed, but I think you do still need to be pretty bang on with... Oh, that was a bad direction to roll in. But yeah, I think they still required good positioning for flashes to actually work. Whereas in Try and Portable 3rd, if it was kind of in front of him, it worked. Good enough. Not in my experience, Hyper Ray. The head was lowered on turns frequently enough. I used to solo Elatrion, and I did very, very well, because he would lower his head very often. Solo hammer runs were terribly effective for that reason. And yeah, I think it would be Look, I mean, if that's your opinion, that's fine, but I would say that that would be a misinterpretation of the... It would be a misinterpretation of reality to say that Tri-Elatrion is harder. He was specifically made to be harder in this game. So, I don't know. Might have just been that in your experience playing Tri, you had a harder time fighting him. But I felt that he was very easy in Tri compared to this game. Not like I'm sitting here finding Elatrion to be crushingly difficult as I play 3 Ultimate, but there is an increase in difficulty through that binding aspect. Oh, was not expecting that. It's a bit dangerous to do this, but you can see that I'm very rarely going for the level 3 charge, because I'm not getting much of an opportunity to get the full charge off. I will obviously prioritize DPS over getting a level 3 charge every time, otherwise I'm not going to be doing any damage at all. I couldn't shield fast enough, I knew that was coming. I can't very well assist Lance if I don't have any life powers. Not in my experience, Hyper Ray. Again, solo hammer versus Elatrion in Tri was very effective, precisely for what you're saying was nerfed, or rather, was made easier in this game. Look, my memory of it isn't great, but I just recall having no difficulty soloing that monster precisely because of his lowering of the head on turn. I don't know, you might have a better memory of it than myself, but I took that game pretty seriously. No, Hammer was great, Hyper Ray, because you didn't... There was a higher motion value on the Super Pound than with anything else, so you could literally charge it, time it, and deal the best damage on the hammer, or with the hammer, precisely because Super Pounds did more damage than the Golf Swing. It was easier to time that than time a Golf Swing. You could technically do it with a Golf Swing, but... Oh, I see. I misread what you said. I'm trying to play the game and read at the same time, which is more challenging than you might think. I'm almost skimming through what you're saying and picking out information as best I can. Wasn't sure what he was doing there, he went out of my field of view. I will sharpen up. Hopefully he doesn't come after me. He sort of came after me, but not really. I'm sure Elatrion picks a target when he does that charge, but whether I was the target or not, he did not succeed in hitting me. Everything in Portable Third was easy mode. It was a very easy game. But I loved playing a 3rd gen game that had monsters like a Ukanlos and a Cantor and all of that. And Tigrex, of course. I very much enjoyed, because of course well, not of course, you probably don't know this. There's a lot of new viewers here in this chat. I started in Freedom Unite, so having started in Freedom Unite and then using the skills that I developed in Freedom Unite as a basis to perform well in Tri when it came out, I was very excited to see older monsters return in Portable Third. I was very excited to see that. And I had a lot of fun, precisely because I was fighting those monsters that I had really suffered at the hands of in Freedom Unite while playing Portable Third, and in some cases they were easier. I felt that Black Tigrex was a pretty good subspecies. He was harder than your standard Tigrex, but overall it was an easy game. Things that were established in Tri were made easier in Portable Third, and there was no real eating system like there was in Tri. They had a very low effort system. Well, of course there was an eating system in all games from 1st gen up until that point, and Try was... Eating was more effective in Try, but you did still have to put some thought into how you were going to eat to get a specific boost or bonus. Whereas in Portable Third, no, you just had a list of drinks. But I didn't dislike that system. It was simple, but I enjoyed it. I think it would have been less enjoyable if they had added it in other games, thus stripping that system of its novelty. I think precisely because it was a novelty in Portable Third, I can enjoy it, and it was fun at the time because it was new, and it remains fun to this day because it was only in Portable Third. If they had added that hot spring system and the drink system in other games, I think I would have, in the end, looked at it negatively because I think the eating system is better. It was a reasonable hunt with Elatrion, was faster than the last one because we did have more resistance that time. Alrighty. And now Lance will post again. I shouldn't need to let him know. He should be aware of that. He doesn't have a fully upgraded Lance though, unfortunately. He's definitely in need of assistance. He keeps wanting Azure Rathalos. I don't know if that's what he should be aiming for, unless he's wanting to make the armor set. I'm actually going to talk to him. I'm going to see what's going on with his objectives. I want to know if he realizes that getting a decent armor set's actually pretty important. Like, he's got fine armor in terms of skills. It's not amazing, but at least he's got armor skills. But he needs better defense, and quite frankly, he needs to upgrade the weapons that he has. So, what are you trying to make? Come on. I feel like Capcom has never been truly satisfied with their eating system. It's hard to know if them changing it in every single Monster Hunter game is a reflection of their dissatisfaction with the system, or if it's just something that they feel should be different for every iteration. I've never been able to make a decision on that. Maybe if I talked to a guy who was involved in the development of the games, I'd be able to work out the thought process behind that, but maybe it is just something that they feel should be different every time, you know, keep it fun. But it also could be the fact that they feel like they never touched on a perfect system. They always felt that it could be improved in some way, because that's usually what drives a game designer to keep changing things. It's because they feel like they can make something better. He's trying to make Dire Morales armor, then why is he hunting Azure Rathalos? Are there Azure Rathalos parts that are required for Morales pieces? Do you need Morales? Because it just so happens that I was wanting to hunt Morales. I'm happy to pull him on task. Oh, you need 10 Cortexes from Azure Rathalos, I see. Makes sense. I don't mind because in the future I'll want weapons too. Fair enough, but at this point in the game you need to be very, very focused on your objective. Your armor set right now is really not good enough, so... how about we do Morales? It's been so long since I've made armor pieces for Morales that I just have no memory of what was required for them. Alright, What would be fun in a Morales hunt? That's assuming that he agrees to do it. I like Elder Dragons. Okay. How about we do Morales? I like Elder Dragons. Well, just as well. So you get a full yes. Alright. Reminds me of the I like trains. Alright, what do I want to use? I could bring an elemental weapon for a change. I often find myself going raw. I mean, what I could do, seeing as though I haven't done it recently, or at least not in this recording, I could go heavy bowgun. Heavy pierce bowgun, more specifically. I like swords, yes indeed. I would do the event, but the event is actually surprisingly difficult. The event is just off the charts. The amount of health he has is ridiculous. Where is the quest? Maybe it's in this list. No. Certainly not. No, it is in this list. There it is. The Black Flame of Calamity. I'm reminded of the time when, you know, really silly phrases. I'm reminded of the time when I had a guy join my room in Generations Ultimate to hunt a Valstrax, and he chose to use a dragon weapon. It was, in fact, a Lao Shan Lung weapon, which, as you know, has lower raw damage and higher elemental damage. The element, of course, being dragon. And we were fighting a Valstrax who takes 0 dragon damage. And I said to the guy, "You do realize this monster takes 0 damage from dragon, right?" And his response to me was, "All monsters are weak to dying." Look, he's right about that. I mean, he wasn't wrong in saying that, but that was a level of stupid that's pretty memorable. It's not even about being a casual. I mean, the guy's a dick. If I'm telling you that you're not really doing any damage, then the least you could do is actually equip something that deals damage, man. Checking if I can buy pin tuna. Which can be done, but it depends on whether or not the granny wants to sell them to me. Please? Be nice to me. No, not today. I've been running low on pin tuna for a long time, but I keep on forgetting to check the granny to see if she's selling them. That's alright, I don't really need PS3 combinations. I'll just bring materials for PS1, which is Bird, Wyvern, Fang, and Huskberry, I think. I will confirm that that's correct. Used to be Velociprey Fang back in the older games. PS1, yes, Bird, Wyvern. I have Huskberries in my inventory. And Bird, Wyvern, Fangs I should have in plentiful number. Didn't want to do that, okay. And I need to buy a PS3. And we should be good to go. I once played Generations Ultimate with some guy in full Adelkar gear whose only active skill was Attack Up Small. When I pointed it out to him, he responded with simply, "No." That would be my response to his loadout. My response to his loadout would be no, and then I'd kick him. Anyway, I'm going to go to the bathroom before we depart. And, yeah, because I don't want to force you guys to 3-man for that period of time. I'll be back momentarily. I've returned. Well, just as well that wasn't what I was doing, hold on a minute. Just as well. And as well as that, I'd beg to differ. Not based on personal expertise or experience, but rather through the fact that there are all sorts of weird people in this world. Oh dear. That's a bit too long of a story to recount verbally, Hyper Ray, but that's a good one. I have run-ins like that all the time. I've been playing Monster Hunter since the PS1. Great. Tell me more. That's a good one. In context with what you've said, up until now, that's pretty fucking funny. That's legendary, in fact. Alright. I'll get ready to reload Cancel the Raw. Potato knows that there isn't, by the way. For anyone who doesn't pick up on the humour. Oh, come on. Got hit by a stray meteor. Twice in a row. Maybe it's not so stray after all. Maybe it was aimed at me. Bloody bastard. Yeah, only serious. No humour. I'll fire some shots on the face. Although, critical distance is not great. I'm underwater and I'm pretty far away from that head, so... not that great, but... whatever. He's about to shoot some more meteors at me. You could also call them fire rocks, lava rocks. There are many different ways to refer to those. Some guy's gonna be like, it's not a meteor, Doomlink, it's not from outer space. Which I suppose is true, but I'm calling them meteors, and you can live with it. I'm getting hit by stray meteors more frequently than usual in this particular quest, but I can live with that. Well, take it easy. Don't go snapping and dragging on me. He's found a different target. Pleasing to see that I have Challenger +2 while being given this opportunity to hit the head. Oops. Overshot that one. He's down again. What's going on with this guy? He's having a bad day. I don't think I've seen a Morales fall over so frequently in recent times. There goes his head. Could have been. I mean, there are many things that you could have done better than buying a Series S potato. Many things you could have done better. Oh. Limiter removed light bow gun with bonus shot in 4-point formation and was boasting about his HR. That's always good. But that's okay, because he likely didn't have anything else going for him, not only in-game but in life, so, you know, you have to at least give him that. You have to at least let him boast about his hunter rank. Oh. God. I'd feel sorry for him, but I find it too funny to allow emotions like that to take hold. You can be both pathetic and funny at the same time. It doesn't have to be a lachrymose matter, you can very easily be completely inept and simultaneously have no reason to be in receipt of my, you know, sadness or... can't think of the word, but the point is that my pity. You have no reason to be in receipt of my pity. But there you go. Oh! I still wasn't able to avoid that. Wow. We told him about the grayed out bonus shot, and he came onto the mic and started shouting vulgarities for 30 minutes. That's always good. Yeah, you run into some strange people in the Monster Hunters community. In the series. Some of them are great, some of them aren't quite so great. Like, really aren't great at all. And he's down again. God. Can't believe it. He's actually... His head has fallen in an area that I can't shoot. As you do. I don't want to join a Discord for the Monster Hunter players unless it's a Discord that just has old players in it. I'm not interested in the current community. Much of the current community just plays the new games. And thinks they know about the old games, but have no desire to play them, so it's just all false knowledge, really. Not acquired through experience. There's a dire dragon gem, I'll take that. I'm certainly not in need of it, but sure. Well, Crimson Gunner, you are one of the very few of your kind who started in World. There's definitely a small percentage of people who started in World and then actually went and tried out the older games, but I'm telling you, the vast majority of people who started in 5th Gen don't give a damn about the older games, and I'm not going to allow this to dominate further conversation in this recording, because I've had this conversation too many times, but yeah, the vast majority of people who started in 5th Gen don't give a shit about the history of the series. They'll care about it as far as, you know, oh, that's an interesting looking monster, but they'll never actually go out of their way to play the game. They will never do that, because it's a stinky old game that's not worth playing, right? And I don't have an interest in those people. I would never write off a person purely on the basis that they started in World, but the reality is that the vast majority of people who started in 5th Gen have no intention of going backwards. But any person who can break free of that, that's a credit to you. You know, there are people who actually started in World, go backwards, and still allow themselves to be offended by anything that I say that is negative about World players. You have to understand that if you are willing to actually go backwards and play the other games, you're not part of the World community. You are you are an exception to that group. You're different. You're more than that. You have officially ascended to a level that they could never reach because they will never play the older games. So, I mean, I understand that people can't control what they identify as sometimes, but, you know, just because you started in World doesn't mean you have to be a World player in the sense that you're with those people. You're apart from that group. You're a Monster Hunter player. You've got 5th Gen players and then you've got Monster Hunter players. If you've gone backwards, you're a Monster Hunter player. You're different to them. That's the way I look at it. So, there you go. At the very least, be assured of that. Well, thank you, Crimson Gunner. I will actually, that's funny, I looked back in the chat history and then I saw Pin Tuna being mentioned. I will use that as another opportunity to check to see if I can purchase Pin Tuna. Oh, yeah, check that out. Check that out. I was rewarded immediately. But what I'm going to have to do is cull my monster material stacks. I'm going to have to go into selling mode and get ready to go. Do I have too many bomb berries? Oh, that's alright. Got a lot of needle berries, scatter nuts. Anything that I seem to have too much of, I have to sell. I just don't have much space in my box in this game. Alright. What I'm going to do is look for those red numbers. If I see a red number, I'm going to make sure that there is not an extra stack of the same material. Nope. I'm actually going to go from the end, because I've likely gone through that earlier part of the list before. But yeah, each slot in my box at this point is worth more than just having that populated with some material that I'm never going to need. Okay, not that time. I might have already taken care of all of this. I seem to recall that last time I did this, I didn't deal with all of my materials. I've got 11 Durambolite, if that means anything. Probably not. Yeah, this is... I don't think I can really buy back much space here. I realise this is terribly boring, but I'm doing what I can to get through this quickly. Alright, catch you later, N10. Thanks for hunting. We've now got space available for another person from the community to hunt. I think I've already taken care of all of this. It's starting to look that way, isn't it? Alright. What are we hunting now? Should I attack with sword or shoot with ballista? Well, it depends on what he's got. I'm assuming he's talking about the Morales hunt that we were just doing? Usually using your own weaponry is better, unless you've got shit weaponry, honestly. Oh, okay, it is in relation to this hunt. Throne of the Abyss. Use your weapon. That's what I'd say to that. What is a worldlet? Asks Beans. Yeah, what a question. I can tell you what a worldlet isn't, and that's a Monster Hunter player. They might think they are, but they do suffer from the disadvantage of being entirely wrong. Which is fine. You know, we just have to forgive them for being ignorant. It's fine. I'm going to sell these Fulgur bugs. I have no need for these. I'll just have a single stack of Fulgur bugs, thank you very much. Very good. Yeah, that's about all the space that I can buy back. I'll just get another 2 stacks of pin tuner and that'll do me. It's a shame, but I just don't have much space. Alrighty. We've got a new player here. Palace. Not literally a new player to the game, I just mean, you know, a new member of the room. I'll give him a hi. And we're doing Cedeus again. Let's go longsword. Sounds like fun. I don't really like longsword underwater, but we don't have to worry about being suboptimal against this monster. He doesn't have much in the way of health. I thought I was stealing someone's seat for a moment, but it was Cha-Cha that was standing there, which is fine. Well, then you're the opposite of a worldlet, Hyper-Ray, in that situation. You're definitely not a World player if you think all the games before World were better if you started in World, and I've definitely played with people like that. There was a guy that I played Generations Ultimate with who started in World. He was a friend of mine. And he started in World. He was one of those people who wouldn't have played Monster Hunter unless a game like World came out that was literally designed for people who couldn't play the older games, and he tried World. And then he played Generations Ultimate and he was like, whoa, World fucking sucks. He was actually like, it was an epiphany for him. He was like, World is so bad. And I was like, right? And we played, in fact, no. He did play Generations Ultimate, but I first got him to play Portable Third. Portable Third was the second game that he played. And it was like an epiphany for the guy. And I was very pleased to see that. Yes, we do agree on that. A worldlet is a person who holds World in the highest regard as a Monster Hunter game, in the sense that, you know, they probably started in World, played Rise, thought Rise was bad, and they hold World to be the gold standard. Like, the golden standard of the series is World, because they've never gone and played another fucking game. So, Rise was bad because it wasn't World. When in actual fact they were both fucking terrible. So, there you go. I'm just reminded of the Dark Souls series, really. When Dark Souls 2 came out, I hated it so much that I couldn't play it, because it was so much worse than the games that preceded it. And everyone loved it at the time. But then some time passed and everyone was like, oh, Dark Souls 2 is terrible. You fuckers were saying the opposite when it came out, so I don't want to hear a word from you. But the point is that they eventually realised it was a bad game, because apparently people needed to tell them that it was a bad game for them to realise that it was bad. Some people can't actually formulate their own opinions. You never know, the same thing might happen with World, but my guess is that it won't. So, whatever. No, Hyper Ray, absolutely not. Oh dear, you couldn't be further from the truth. The reality is that the vast majority of people playing Dark Souls 2 when it came out were people who had never played the Souls series before, and were enjoying the Souls formula, but in the worst possible expression of the formula. But because they hadn't experienced a different expression of the formula, they had no basis from which to make a sensible determination on the quality of Dark Souls 2 as a video game. It wasn't until Bloodborne, and Bloodborne's not a Souls game, but particularly Dark Souls 3, it wasn't until Dark Souls 3 came out that people could really get a sense for how bad Dark Souls 2 was. That game was... They were blowing sunshine up that game's ass until the cows came home. Like, there was so much adoration for that game, and adulation, that I had to actually eject myself from the community. It was terrible. I was so angry, and I will never forget it for as long as I live. Literally, people didn't even recognize that there was a first Dark Souls game. I mean, you really have to look at it in the sense that the vast majority of people didn't even play the first Dark Souls until it got a remaster. It was on PS3, Xbox 360, and PC, and these fuckers needed a remaster to have an excuse to play the game. They had no reason not to play it. And it was better than Dark Souls 2 in every way. So, really, that says it all. That's the community. That's the reason why people thought Dark Souls 2 was good. And people are welcome to like Dark Souls 2, I understand that, but I don't even want to... That's a long subject to get on anyway. Every time I record a Souls game, I'm on that subject. You know? Every time I record Monster Hunter, I'm on the subject of 5th Gen Monster Hunter, and every time I'm playing a Souls game, I'm talking about how bad Dark Souls 2 was, and how much respect I had lost for the community of that series when that game came out. That was the beginning of the end for that community, I'll tell you what. Well, I don't know why that is, Hyper Ray. Well, I guess you didn't like Demon Souls all that much. Or you didn't pay attention or something. I mean, Dark Souls, there's no reason not to play that game earlier on. I'll ping if Lance doesn't understand, but... Actually, where is the Dragonator? I haven't even paid attention to where I am. Lance knows. What's happening with the other guy? Anyway, I have a lot of... there can only be a visceral reaction from me when it comes to the subject of Dark Souls 2 and all of that. I was also very busy playing Monster Hunter, let me tell you. When Dark Souls... Actually, interestingly enough, no, that's actually not true. When Dark Souls came out, I was coming towards the end of my Tri-play. I was really, really invested in Tri from the time it came out to maybe early 2012. And the first Dark Souls came out in, I think, September of 2011, which would... It's the 10th anniversary of Dark Souls, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't realise that until I just said those words. But there you go, 10th anniversary of Dark Souls. Anyway, point of the matter is that the game didn't come out until... maybe it was October, I don't know. But the point is that by that time, I was starting to slow down with my Monster Hunter Tri-play, which gave me plenty of time to play Dark Souls. So fair enough, if you were too busy with Monster Hunter, then fair. I'd say that's a good excuse to not play Dark Souls. The main theme of Demon Souls sounds like arse, says Adam. If you say so. But yeah, I also started in Demon Souls, and I regret that any person who didn't start in Demon Souls has missed out on something truly special, but it's alright. And when I say Demon Souls, I mean the original one. When that game came out, it was an animal of its own. There was nothing like it. It was amazing. It must be a really nice arse because I love the theme. Yeah, exactly. See, not all arse is bad. Although I suppose to sound like arse is to... if you immediately, sound associated with an arse immediately conjures up thoughts of the expelling of air through the anus, which is not a pleasant sound. Particularly when it makes contact with the arse cheeks and creates, you know, the sound that we're all familiar with. But, you know. In other words, it can look like arse and be good, but maybe not sound like arse and be good. That doesn't make sense. Like, you can't... no one's going to say, oh, that fart sounded great because the arse is pretty nice to look at. No, a fart is a fart, man. There's not much to say other than that. I'd better sharpen up. I'm surprised this monster's still alive. He's probably not far from death, but... he's lasted a while. I'm glad we fought both Cedeus and Morales, though. I was out of oxygen, I realised that, but my expectation was that the monster was going to die soon. Oh, it does, Beans. I'm always wondering if there is such a thing as a pleasant-sounding fart. I spend at least an hour of my time before sleeping ruminating on that thought. Just, you know, I wonder if there was like a woman with the perfect arse. I wonder if the fart could sound like Mozart, you know. Ray's correct in saying that as well. People who are into farts probably don't judge the fart by the appearance of the arse, but again, if you're into farts in that sort of way, I mean, we can't imagine that because it's illogical, but they're not very logical in liking the sound of farts, so they might actually like the fart more if it comes from a pleasant-looking arse. I don't know. Why are you talking about farts? Well, because Ardan said that the Demon Souls theme sounds like arse. And Potato said that it must be a pleasant arse, or a pleasant-looking arse. Or a pleasant-sounding arse, I don't know what he said, but the point is that the sound of an arse is a fart no matter what. Doesn't matter what it looks like,
that's a fart. Because the arse makes no other sound. Unless there is a possible sound that is created by arse cheeks slapping together on their own, which would be concerning, because it would mean that that person probably needs to, you know, address their weight or something. But, anyway. I have found an extra stack that can be sold off. Plop, plop, plop. Yes, indeed. Oh, Palas is already done. Oh, never mind. Lance is heading off. Thanks for hunting. I'll probably do one more hunt myself. Almost out of cider. A big fake silicone arse. That's lovely. I'm glad you're not paying attention to the conversation, Autonomic. It's really low level. It's taken a dive. It's bottom of the barrel by now. Alright, what's one hunt that we can do that's fairly easy? Who hosted that quest? I guess it was... Who did host that? Must have been Autonomic who hosted that. Okay. Oh, that's true. Excuse me. I'm so used to the red player always being the quest host. It must have been... Oh, it was you. Okay, that's bizarre. But yeah, I was looking through the chat history and looking at the colour of the names in the hunt, right? But the colour of the name in the hunt actually is not related to the order in which the person joined the quest, it's related to the order in which the person joined the room. So I will always be the red player, irrespective of who posts the quest, which is probably not unique to this game, but it is kind of weird compared to what I'm used to. That's pretty tenuous, Potato, but sure. Alright. So I guess Palas can post. You can post, Palas. Hopefully he doesn't post something that's complete crap. Which further adds to the topic of discussion. Yeah, and then Potato says Palas with the double S, which is... Anyway. I guess we can't escape this topic of discussion after all. As downmarket as it is. Palas is using the Thunder Saw. It's got a bit of a different coloration to what it had in 2nd gen. And it is Awaken only, as I recall, in this game. And furthermore, it's an event weapon. Instead of just being a normal weapon, so... There you go. Sanctioned Sword. And he does have Awaken. Oh no, he doesn't. Turns out that I was wrong about it being an Awaken weapon. He's got Blunt Edge, but he's got some pretty good skills outside of that. I wouldn't want Blunt Edge with a fucking sword and shield, but... Still a good set, probably. Ah, that was good. Reasonable cider. I think it's pretty hard to fuck up a cider. You can have better or worse cider, but to have an actual bad cider on its own, you'd have to fuck that up pretty hard. I've had bad cider at a pub where the lines were old and probably not in any way clean. Like if you've got bad lines on a tap in a pub, yeah, you can have flat, shitty cider. Absolutely, but if it's bottled, come on. Potato, that would be going out of your way to make the cider shit. You put that in a microwave and it's not going to be good. Palas is having a hard time choosing a quest. Don't choose an arena quest, that's not going to work, man. Okay, Kendrick can post. What the hell? I had missed what he said. Come on, type properly. I'm being retarded. Po-apple. Yeah, arena is 2 people only, and this person should know that. I don't care what you people do, just post something, please. I want to do one last hunt, which doesn't mean I want to sit here for 10 minutes to do my last hunt. Just let Kendrick post, and if Palas wants to throw a tantrum and leave, then he can. No, Hyper Ray, he's literally choosing from this list, unless you're saying that some of the quests in this list are not 2 people only. Is that what you're saying? Because of course there are certain quests that appear in the arena. Huh. Okay, well I didn't know that. Seems like Palas is perfectly happy to do Kendrick's quest anyway. A burnt offering I think is... oh... well, that's fine. We'll be done with that fairly quickly. I do vaguely remember there being 4 Hunter Arena quests, but it's not a very large list. Anyway. What should I bring that would be appropriate for all 3 monsters? Uragan, Agnoctora, Azur, Rathlos, right? I think so. Dragon. They're all weak to dragon. So, what weapon type would be fun? How about dual blades? Do I have good dragon dual blades? I don't think I do. I might have the Devil Joe one. Yeah, let's use the Devil Joe dual blades. I'll keep with this answer. Unless I have an Awakened Dragon dual blades option, but I don't think I do. I'm trying to remember. Raiders Savagery, that's ice. That's water. No, wait, hold on, that's fire, excuse me. Fire, water, ice. Yeah, I don't have a dragon option. Oh good, this'll do me. Do I remember the Stygian one? No. I don't remember a Stygian arena quest. I remember Descent into Hades, because I recently finished my 5th one. But, no, I don't remember. Admittedly, I don't do much arena, I will say that. I don't find myself doing arena very often. Off we go. Wait. Oh, never mind. I thought someone had disconnected. I saw a message appear on the screen and I assumed that someone had disconnected or something. Let's start with Uragan, I suppose. He's right here. And Palas is here also, so we'll just start with Uragan. Easy. I'll try not to get caught in that. Fortunately, I did not. I got stuck on the leg. In trying to turn around to dash in this direction, I got caught on the leg, which is really stupid. Everything that I'm trying to do is just not coming out fast enough. This Rhinopolis is really shitting on me. He's shitting in my breakfast right now. That needs to stop. I'll kill them both. I don't have the time for this. Get out of here. One thing that they made, I don't know if this was Portable 3rd or 3 Ultimate, one of the two games they added more tremor distance. I don't know if that's the correct way to refer to it, but basically they gave more of a... They gave a greater range to the tremor effect of the chin slam, the really big chin slam of Uragan. I think it was in this game, I don't think it was that bad in Portable 3rd. I'm pretty sure that it was Portable 3rd where they... Or rather, I'm pretty sure it was this game where they actually gave the chin slam more range. It definitely was less extreme in try, that much I know for certain, but I'm pretty sure Portable 3rd didn't have it. The tremor of Devil Joe's Stomp I'm not entirely sure about. No. This is why I said this quest would be fast. He's only one of 3 monsters, he's got like no health. I'll sharpen after we kill him. I don't know, let's see who... I don't know if Agnaktor has spawned at the same time, let's see. They do spawn one at a time. Good to know. I wasn't too sure. And there's no invading monster because that would overcomplicate things, obviously. And if there is an invading monster, then he obviously isn't here now. That was a bit unfortunate. I don't know if I'll bother carving you. I think I will. I'm almost getting to the point where I won't bother... Oh, I see. It's Mega Potions. Yeah, that makes sense. It's the... If you're fighting 3 of the same monster, you do get your regular carves, but if it's a triple quest, for example, and it's all different monsters, you will get Mega Potions from the monsters when you carve them. One of the things that really bothers me about this game is that you can't actually see the monsters in the quest objective when you're on the quest. I don't understand why they chose to do that. In all of the other games, and perhaps not Try, but certainly Portable 3rd, Freedom Unite, all the games that came before this one, you could see that information in the quest. But not here. Makes no fucking sense. This is a big Agnaktor. Look at him. Gold crown. I'm calling it. I'm fucking calling it. He's huge. This guy's had a lot to eat. Fucking big. The larger the monster is, the harder it is to deal with them, by the way. Every attack that they send your way is harder to avoid because they cover more distance with every attack, obviously, because they're so huge. And this is a big boy. He's fat. I'm apparently dealing more damage in this moment, actually, because from my memory, you deal more damage when the monster is hardened if you're using Dragon Element. But Dragon's still good when he's not hardened. Well, maybe not good, but it at least does some damage. Probably 10 to 15. Stupid fire geyser. I rolled away from the Oroctor coming out of the ground, but in having successfully rolled away from that guy, I got hit by the large monster. Very good timing. I think that back leg's been broken. Yes, it has. Just as well. We do have a lot to break on this monster, though. I'll go for the chest. No, not that. Oh, very nice. Attacking this part of the body will break the main body of the monster as opposed to the tail. Case in point. Chest has been broken, which is good to see. The best case scenario for a dragon element user such as myself in this situation is for all parts to be broken and for him to remain in his hardened mode. So he gives me his dragon weakness, but I don't have to deal with the bouncing. That's not a good place for you to dig out of, my friend. Well, I'm fat-shaming him because he's eaten too much. There's no reason why he would be so large if he wasn't such a glutton. Look at the size of him. Take it easy, Pallas. You've succeeded in hitting me, but not the monster. Seriously. Again, I'll save my sharpening until after the death of this monster. We should be able to kill him here. If we fail in killing him here, I will be disappointed. I'm not going to be terribly disappointed with the team, but I'll be generally disappointed. Because that's a bit of time wasted. Get out of range. Oh, never mind. I won't get out of range. I was intending to get out of range of the tremor that would be caused by him landing up to... Oh, God. Couldn't even get a run up there to do a dive. Anyway, no comment. I will drink a cool drink. And that's a dead Agnoctor. I'm actually going to go to the bathroom. I'll be back in a moment. This is what happens when you drink cider on camera. I can't help myself. I'm back, and somehow my controller has managed to wrap itself around the arm of my chair. This is ridiculous. Okay, come back. Anyway. I will indeed sharpen. And we'll see how much I can contribute to this hunt before the Azure Rathalos is dead. He's not going to last very long, that's for sure. It'll be a little bit faster to go this way, I think. Let's go south from here. We'll see if he ends up leaving the area by the time I get here. He probably will. He doesn't last in this area for very long. The best case scenario... Oh, he is still here. The best case scenario will be killing him before he even gets a chance to leave. Unlikely given that I have taken so long to get here. You can always hope. I do love his colour though. Azure Rathalos looks his best in this game. He's just got such a good colour. I don't have flash bombs, I'm sorry to say. I actually dived there to avoid the wind press. And he's leaving. Likely to go this way. He can sometimes go south of this position, but usually west. No, he went that way, I think. That's annoying. I was wrong this time. I do hate it when that happens. I think it usually is health based. It means he's not had too much health taken from him if he went that way. West means he's pretty close to limping. There we go. I don't know if we ended up... Oh, we just managed to break the head at the end. So we broke everything except the tail. I don't need to carve you, I don't think. Oh, that's right, it's Mega Potions. Silly me. I keep forgetting. There's a baby Aptonoth that's about to die. I'm a predator. Goodbye. There you go. Someone else can reap the benefits of that. Which they won't, because, you know, who needs raw meat at this point? If you're looking for your child, it's dead. Okay? Very good. Okay. And thank you for the follow, JJ Builds. I didn't notice, but I have now. Just as well. That is the last hunt that we're doing. That will conclude my first recording of 3 Ultimate after having reached 999 in Generations Ultimate. I will be playing more of this game, most certainly. At least more than I was playing it before. Oh, whoops, didn't mean to take that. But yeah, that will conclude this recording. And we're now 449 in this game. In case you wanted to know. I will make sure that I sell this Wrath Talon, otherwise I'm going to forget to do it. And it's going to create a new stack somewhere that I will have no way of knowing. Oh yes, I will let this group know that I'm closing the room. Closing the room. Thanks for hunting. And I will sell the Wrath Talon. Or Wrath Ripper, excuse me. Alright. Palace is gone. And I'll wait for you too, but I'll do that off camera. I do thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.